大家好，欢迎来到我的节目。我想大家都知道，孩子如果申请美国的大学，都要写一个 personal 的 essay。那么写作能力呢非常重要，写作能力呢在工作中也非常重要。这个呢，我在我的这个收费的单集哥大的学生讲这个英语思维和英语写作的要点上呢，跟大家分享过。那么呢，我呢今天呢，就想给大家呢放一首英文诗。为什么呢？因为今天是4月30号，4月呢是美国的诗歌月。我们知道中国是5月红5月的这个诗歌朗诵或者是歌咏比赛。这首英文诗呢，就是我的哥大的好朋友米克写的。我们知道哥大的这个毕业生里面有一位非常有名的诗人，叫做 Allen Ginsberg， 阿伦金斯堡。我非常喜欢他的作品。那么我觉得我的这个好朋友米克的这首诗也写得非常有气势。他呢是用这个棒球，就讲他自己本身是一个失败的这个运动比较差的这么一个队员，所以呢每次运动呢都输，打棒球也输。但是呢，就是美国经常在棒球赛上赢，所以那时候他就感觉到很骄傲。但是如今呢，他就觉得这个美国如果是一个国家，作为一个棒球队来说呢，现在是输了啊，这个队员也不怎么样，领队也不怎么样。这当然是他在这个特朗普当政期间写的，所以这篇诗呢很有这种象征意义。我希望呢，我在我的这个节目中呢，就是经常给大家一些比较美好的东西啊，或者是比较有艺术的、比较就是小众的东西。之前呢，我也请好莱坞的星二代 Sean Stone、Oliver Stone 的儿子为大家朗诵他的诗啊，这是一位85后。那么他的那首诗呢，还有他自己创作的视频。所以呢，大家如果没有去听、没有去看的，可以去看。这期呢，除了他的这个诗朗诵，还有米克做一些解析。这个写作，比如说在诗里为什么要这样的取这个题目，它的象征是什么？好，那下面就是我们的英文诗欣赏。
Because it is still April. This is Poetry Month.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you read my the poem I sent to you.
Will you
Did you
read
see that?
it aloud?
That poem was written on July 15th
Uh,
last year, and it was during the run up to the election, and it was about my disenchantment with America. Because of all these things, because of this, the vast, opposition between the lies that were being bandied about and all that. Let me see if I can pull it up. You want me to read it?
yes, please. Thank
Can you
you.
hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So this is my contribution to Poetry Month in America. A swing and a miss, America. I was always a poor athlete, as were most in my family, probably because we had parents who were forced to value work more than play. But that didn't stop me from joining the many losing teams that would pick me last from the lineup and say, get out there in the weeds and look alive. I suppose I enjoyed being on the team regardless of our standing, and there was a trophy for every player, whether they scored or not. And every 4th of July, I'd be reminded that I was on the winning team after all, even if I wasn't the most dedicated, knowledgeable, or loyal player. There would always be others who knew the rules better than me, who could take us on to a victory in the World Series. And many coaches came and went, the good, the bad. It was the same for years and years and years. We swept the pennant, then the league. We were the undefeated champions of the world. So it hurts a little to admit that now I'm on a losing team again, but I have my childhood years to look back upon and make familiar the sting of loss and defeat. My team lacks the strength of better players to carry the weight of my own poor skills. The coach is a drunk, the pitcher is a belly itcher. Perhaps now, more than ever, it's time to look alive. July 15th, 2020. The setup is about me being a poor baseball player.
The underdog.
Right, the underdog. But what it turns to, it's really a lament to America. It's about every 4th of July, I'd be reminded that I was on the winning team after all. That's the patriotism that comes with being an American. The 4th of July, that's when you get to see all the flags and the rockets and the celebration for being an American. And I'm on the winning team because I'm an American, right? And there would always be others on the team who knew better than me and who could take us onto a victory in the World Series. That's like other leaders, people I could trust in. Like I didn't have to be in government. I didn't have to be the president. I could leave that to people who were smarter than me and I trusted that they would do the right thing. And many coaches, presidents came and went, good, bad, different. It's fine. The outcome was the same for years and years. We were still considered the best team, right, in the world. America was number one. We swept the pennant and the league. We were undefeated champions of the world. This is not a baseball team I'm talking about. I'm talking about being an American society, and America's place in the world. So it hurts a little to admit that now I'm on a losing team again. So this is how I felt about America last summer. No longer being the most influential team or nation, I'd say, in the world. Now it's standing in the world. It feels like after we abandoned our European friends and Canada and Mexico and everybody pretty much for insanity with the started to look down on America and realize, oh, they kind of suck. They're losing. They lose wars. They elected an idiot for president, and we've backed out of all our accords and all this, and basically their respect for us in the world stage has been depleted. So that's where I say my team lacks the strength of better players to carry the weight of have the people who can, it's got to be. So whereas before the team was strong enough to make up for my own poor skills, now we don't have those people because we've got idiots in the White House. The coach is a drunk, the pitcher is a belly itcher. Those are just cliches about baseball, about youth baseball. They're just kind of funny things. Belly itcher is a taunt. You say pitcher, belly. We need a pitcher, not a belly itcher. Is a child's taunt for the pitcher when you're at a young game. So perhaps more than ever, it's time to look alive. Meaning, it's time for me to step up and do something. It's time for me to be more active, because clearly the people that I trusted to take care of our country for so long are failing to do the job well the way they have up until then. So that's why it's called a swing and a miss, which is like a strikeout. You swing and you miss the ball, it's a strikeout. But Miss America, so a swing and a miss America is the title, and Miss America, of course, is a I just like the sound of that, Miss America, like Miss, like,
Miss
Miss
Universe, Miss
right,
America.
sort of thing. So a swing and a miss America, and swing and a miss is a phrase used in baseball.
Like a tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I start out talking about my personal experiences about being a shitty baseball player, but really it's about America losing its standing. What he calls the turn, where the poem goes, there's a certain point in his poems that go from the personal to the universal.
Yes.
So he starts talking about small things, on his mind, something he observed, something in his day, and then somehow he makes that relate to a bigger, more universal, global, or issue or thought that could be applied to the reader as well. So you're not just reading some, music. He's making a larger statement, and I think this poem kind of follows that structure.
Symbolism, right?
Yeah, right. It's talking about it's there's more than meets the eye, public speaking, which is very frightening for a lot of people. A lot of people. It's the worst thing they could ever imagine is to have to speak in front of a crowd. It's very difficult. But if you can do it well, I thought it would be that's what makes a good lawyer. It's like you may have a law career ahead of him, or so debating is very important for that.